Alright, so a few things just to make sure we're on the same page. So this is your snap cube. This is a good way to tell if you're looking at the top, the front. So that's your snap cube. You can tap it to make sure that you're looking at the front of the mesh. Also, if you go to this little camera, I'm using orthographic, and you may see a grid. If you see a grid, that's fine. I usually like to keep it off, but sometimes I like to turn it on. So there's your grid. Also, you can change the background of your setup. You would just go here and then you can tap this and you can change it to whatever color you'd like. But first, let's delete this default sphere. So let's go to our scene menu here and we'll just delete and we'll add a new sphere. And the reason why we're doing that is because the default sphere is just very high resolutions. We don't need it for right now. Anytime you add a shape, so for example in the scene, anytime you add anything, you're going to see this validate. So there's a few things you can do before you validate. But for now, let's just go ahead and hit validate. Now it's a part of the project officially because we validated it. Here's your tools. So if you go in the materials, this little sphere here, and you go down, you'll see smooth shading. Mine is on auto, which is on, but if yours is off, then it might look a little pixelated like this. So if you see that pixelation, that means that yours is probably off. Just go here and you can turn it on. Or in my case, I'll just put it to auto. All right, let's zoom out a bit and get started. So I'm not really sure what we're gonna make, but let's see. So firstly, I wanna make some legs. So let's go to our scene, add, and let's do a cylinder first. So let's use our gizmo, that's kind of our controller, and we're gonna use the green arrow to bring it down. Let's shrink it. So let's use this orange ring. It's a bit hard to see, but it's a larger orange ring. So let's shrink it. So maybe something like that. Let's hit mirror. And then we're going to pull it apart like this. So essentially, since it's in the center of the project and we hit mirror, so now it's mirroring. So it's really just one cylinder, but it's mirrored on the other side, which is great because we don't have to do everything twice. Okay, so now we have a sphere with some little cylinders, and I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with these. Let's shrink them. So I'm looking at the side view now. Let's make it bigger. I think maybe a little smaller. And I want to use this blue ring to sort of rotate them a little bit. Okay, I like it. And you can also add holes in cylinders as well, which is pretty cool. So we can hit hole, and now we have a hole in our cylinder. All right, so I did mention legs, so let's make some legs. Let's use a tube. So let's tap tube over here, and we'll just hit path. And now let's just tap on the screen, hold it there, and then drag up, and then let go. You should get something like this. And we'll tap this little green dot. So this is gonna make our legs. So you notice that there's two of them, which means that it's mirrored. So sometimes what happens is if you add a tube or something, it might go into another mirror. So I think it went into the mirror of the cylinders. So let's tap on the legs. Let's go into our scene and we can see that it's inside this mirror. So you can just tap it, hold, and drag it out. And let's take this and let's call this leg cuffs. And I'm just going to rename this cuffs just for the sake of being thorough. We'll call this leg, or we can call it legs. And this is the body. Okay, so now we're back to having one leg, which is fine. Eventually we'll probably put the mirror on this as well. We can do it now. We can get crazy. Okay, so obviously these are the legs, and you notice that it's not really going through the mesh, and that's because of snap. So let's turn snap off, and then it won't have any problem going through a mesh, which is what we need. Okay, so we'll do something like this. Maybe I'll bring it a little closer, like that. Okay, I'll take a look at the side view. So maybe straight down like that. But obviously we want the legs to be a bit longer. So we can just stretch this node. We can add another node here where maybe the knee is. And I'm going to add another one underneath it. And the reason I do that, because I like to do legs in this sort of not anatomy style, but I don't know, that's just how I make legs. Like the legs come down, then the knee, and then the little bend, and this is where kind of like the calf would be. So I don't know if I'm going to do human-esque legs because it's really just a ball, but I do want to make this side bigger than this side. Like I want it to increase the volume when we get down to the foot. So that has to do with this little orange node. So if I hit radius twice, now there's one here and here. So this means that this is going to be controlled by this little node. This is controlled by this little node. So if I make this bigger, it's going to make the whole thing bigger, but not quite here. It's just kind of, you know, it's kind of working its way up. So I'll undo. And same thing if you hit radius. Wait, what did I just hit? So if you hit radius, then you can control each and every node. So if I wanted to actually make a calf muscle, I could kind of do something like that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to make the bottom a little bit wider for the foot. Maybe I'll make this a little bit wider too. Okay, so looking at the front, I kind of don't want them touching that much. So I could probably use the gizmo here, so you can go back and forth between the tube and the gizmo. So you can use the gizmo and just kind of move it over manually, which might work. Tilt it a little bit even. I think that might work. Okay. And you can also go back into the tube options and maybe pull this top part together a little bit. But I like that. I think it looks pretty good for the legs. Let's make a little floor for the character to stand on. That'll be easier when we make the front part of the feet. So let's go to our scene. We'll add, and we'll just do a box. We'll keep it simple. So I want to use the gizmo. But see down here, you see this cube is selected. So let's just select the gizmo. That will make it easier to move. So I'm going to move it down. I'll flatten it with this green sphere. Make it a little bit bigger. We'll bring it down again. So this is going to be the floor, or the ground, I should say. Okay, that looks pretty good. But we have smooth shading on. That's why this looks so weird. Like that's why it doesn't really look like a regular cube. So if you want it to just be a regular cube, you could turn that off and then it looks way better. And actually we can leave it off. And just so you know, smooth shading is particular to the mesh and not like the whole project. So for example, if I go to the sphere, smooth shading is on. You go to the mesh, it's off. So you can adjust that as needed. Okay, so let's make some little feet. Let's tap the scene. Let's take the box out of the mirror and let's name it floor. Okay, so I'm just going to tap on the body and then add some spheres. The reason I tapped on the body is just so that this new sphere would be created right underneath it, so it doesn't go in one of these mirrors. All right, so let's bring it down. We'll shrink it. We'll move it over. We'll go ahead and mirror it. And maybe we'll squash it a bit with this. Looks kind of good. Move it in some. Maybe I'll move it down a little bit. I think I want something like that for the feet. If you look at the top view, they need to be narrowed a bit and maybe moved. Something like that is good. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and validate those. And these, let's just name the mirror. So tap on the mirror and then these three dots, and we'll just name this feet. All right, let's save. So just tap the folder and tap save. It's good to save as often as possible because Nomad will crash. All right, so let's make some arms for this rascal. So I'm just gonna tap the body, I'm gonna hit add. I'm gonna do another sphere. I think I'm gonna make like a kind of like a shoulder pad thing. So let's just move it over and then we'll mirror it and shrink it. And let's use this little round sphere to kind of smush it together a little bit and then rotate it with this blue ring. Move it down some. Whoop, I don't know what I just did. Move it down some, rotate it a little bit more. Maybe we'll do the tube again for the arm, or yeah, for the arms. We'll do path. So again, we just have to tap down and then drag up and then let go. And we'll tap this little green thing. It looks like it's in the mirror. So I'm gonna take this tube out. I'm gonna move it up, rename it arms. Okay, and then I'm going to figure out what I want, how I want these arms. So remember, if it doesn't go inside the mesh, just hit snap. Okay, I think I want it around there. I think I want it maybe kind of similar to the legs. Okay, so I'm going to put another node here just by tapping. And also another thing, if you tap it twice, if it's black, that means it's kind of like that means it's kind of like an angle. So it won't be round. Okay, I'm going to hit radius twice down here. That way I can adjust each of these little radii. Maybe I'll add another one here. No, we might not need another one, but maybe I'll move it out a little bit. Okay, I think I like that. I might want the arms to, I might add another node just so I can kind of curve the arm a little bit. Okay, and now I'm just going to move this so it makes more sense. So I'm going to use the gizmo and just kind of move it. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller and shrink it a little bit more. I want the arm to, it doesn't have to be coming out of the middle, but maybe something like this. Okay, I kind of like it. So let's take this. Now what would be nice if we could make this end a little rounder, a little more round. So if we tap the 3 dots, let's see if we do post subdivision to 2 and then bring this down, we might be able to get it a little bit more round. Okay, that looks good, but we might not be able to use it. If we go back into the tube options, let's see if we can make this bigger and maybe this bigger. I think I like that. Okay, so let's make some quick little round cubes for the fingers. So we'll go to scene, add a box. We'll go to our gizmo, we'll move it down and over. And then with this orange ring, we'll shrink it. Okay, let's stretch it with this green sphere and let's kind of move it into kind of position. Maybe we'll make it a little thinner there. So that looks pretty good to me. Okay, maybe I'll give it a little bit of a rotation so it kind of fits together. So maybe we'll have one there. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So one finger there. Maybe we'll, actually before we clone it, let's make it round. So let's go here, do 3 little dots, post subdivision to 2, and we'll bring this down to 1. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see what 2 looks like. I think I like 2. That'll give us a little bit of, 2 is better. Okay, so we have that. Let's hit validate. let's hit clone, and then just move the clone like so. And now we have to just kind of rotate it to fit this little piece, to fit his hand, or his arm, his wrist. Okay, I think I like that. I'm gonna hit clone again, and I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna take this little round circle in the middle and just drag this over. And this will be the thumb. So you can kind of put it however you want to put it. I'm thinking the thumb would be maybe a little more over here and maybe a little opened up. So we want to make sure that we have the fingers and the arms sort of together. I don't want to make them all one piece yet, but I just want to have them together. So these are the fingers and this is the arm. So I'm going to take this box and just long press and just nestle these underneath each other like this. Perfect. And what I might do later on is I might put the other arm in a different position. I'm not too sure yet, but I very well might do that. So to make things easy, if I want to put this arm in a different position, what I would do is clone everything. So I would take all of these, clone them, hide one group, and then I would just take this arm. So first I'm gonna have to move the pivot point. So I'll just tap pivot, and let's say you want the pivot to be where the arm is gonna move. So that's gonna be kind of like the shoulder. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of line it up with the shoulder. You can actually use X-ray, which is pretty cool. Okay, so see how it's lined up with the shoulder? Now I'll hit pivot again and X-ray. So then I can take this arm, I can take this arm and rotate it to do like a different position. Now, if something is not validated, then you can't flip it to the other side. So you just have to be happy and ready and then validate it. And then you can actually take each one, go to this little symmetry tab here, and you can flip object like so. And then you can just go to each one and you can flip. And you can bring the other one back, and now you have two different ones. So I might do something with the legs as well. Actually, I might not need to. Let's do something different with the legs. So I like them. Let's go ahead and validate the legs. So now we have, okay, so we validated the tubes, but now we still have this leg mirror. So let's make them two separate legs. So let's validate. See, this is where this comes into play. Join children would make them one piece, but if we do keep instances, oh no, we want uninstance. That will make them two completely separate pieces. Uninstance, yes. So then we have this blue legs and we have each leg. I'm just gonna drag it out of that little blue thing. I'm gonna drag each one out. Get rid of this. So now we have both legs. So this is leg A. This will be leg back. Now, of course, I could have done it the way we did the other little piece, the way we did the arms, but the shape is okay. I think it's fine. Now, the other thing is, don't forget these two feeties. So let's take these, let's validate, and let's do the same thing. Let's uninstance them. And then let's take each one that corresponds with the leg. So for example, this one corresponds with this leg. I can't see. And then this one corresponds with the other leg. So we'll just go like that. We'll get rid of this little sphere. We'll hit a save. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to do that is so that if I move the leg, it moves the foot as well. So now we want to move the pivot point. I think. No, wait, maybe we want this leg to be back. If this arm is reaching up, let's see, if I was gonna be like I'm reaching for something, the opposite leg goes back. The opposite leg goes back. So I think I have it wrong, but that's okay. So this will be, let me just change this or else I'll get confused. So this will be leg. The other one is leg back. Okay, so now I'm gonna go left. I wanna go X-ray. So we're just seeing this leg, and I wanna change the pivot to be where the leg would be moving from. So we'll change this pivot. We'll move the pivot up here. Boom. Okay, let me go to X-ray again. And I'm gonna do this as well. Let's take both feet. Let's take this little sphere and let's trim it. So let's use the trim tool, because right now it's just it's round. Whoops. So let's trim it. We'll use trim, we'll use rectangle, and then we'll just make a box and everything in it will get trimmed. I'm gonna do it a little bit underneath the surface of this cube. So let's do the same thing. We'll just flip it around. Make sure I'm on the foot, and we'll just trim it. Like so. Okay, so this is the foot that I wanted to put back. Let's go to our gizmo, and we should be able to, why is it, oh, there it goes. Leg back. Leg back, okay. So I guess I need to take both of them and then change the pivot. Which is fine, annoying, but fine. Okay, so now I should be able to move them both. Turn X-ray off. Why do I feel like it moved so weird? Okay, let's do it a different way. So let's move the leg back to maybe something like this. Let's move this back. And let's rotate it. Actually, let's rotate it a little bit. Oh, that looks fine, actually. So I'm happy with that. I want to take this leg. Let's make this one piece. So I'm going to do a quick save, and then voxel remesh this at like 150. And the other one, we'll do the same thing just to keep it together. We'll do about 150. I'll take smooth, oops, and just smooth this out. And I'll smooth out the other leg as well. Okay. His feet are kind of flat, huh? I guess that's fine. I guess that's okay. Sometimes I'll voxel remesh things again. Okay. I think I want to take this whole arm and the little shoulder thing. Oh, I guess I have to. Let's take the shoulder thing and let's validate and uninstance as well. We can validate both of these. And then we'll just move them to their respective arms. So this one can go here. This one can go here. We'll delete this. So I want to give him a really big mouth, but I also want to make the inside hollow. So what I'm going to do is let's take the body, clone it, and we'll use X-ray. With the gizmo, we can make the inner circle smaller. I think that's good. So I'm going to use this later. For now, I'm going to hide it. So I'll go back to regular body, turn X-ray off. I want to look at it from the side. And I want to take trim with lasso. And I'm just going to draw something like this. Maybe that's too big. Actually, I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep that. All right, so I'm going to keep this for the mouth. I'm going to bring back the other one, and then I'm going to do a Boolean. I'm going to do a Boolean cut, so I'm going to use this to carve the inside of the bigger sphere. So all I need to do is select them both, hide the one that I want to do the carving, and then hit Boolean. So now I have the inside of the mouth. I don't know if I want it up top though. Let's see. What's the best thing? What's the best way to do it? There's another way I can do it. I'm gonna get rid of this. Let's take layer. Let's take the layer tool, tap sub, and then make sure we have symmetry on. We can do it this way. But what we really need to do is turn up the resolution of this, because see how it's not very clean? So let's take this sphere and let's voxel remesh it to like 160. So I'm just using a shortcut, the voxel remesh. You can go here, voxel, and then remesh. And it's the same number, as you can see. It's the same number. So we'll hit remesh. And now we can use layer, and it should be a lot cleaner. And I think I can use, and that's radius. I guess that's intensity. We'll just leave it. So as soon as you take the stylus off of the screen, it starts another layer. I actually didn't mean to go back that deep. So I'm going to voxel remesh it again, even though it's the same number, and then I'm going to just smooth it out. Okay, it looks good. I don't know why I like making characters with big mouths. I'm not sure what I want to make in this, in his hand. Originally it was going to be a bowl. I don't really know why, but maybe like a piece of pizza would be kind of cool. Let's add some eyes. So let's add some spheres. We'll do gizmo, move it up, move it down, mirror it. Kind of looks like a frog in a sense. Let's make these smaller, and I'm not really sure what shape I want them to be or where I want them to be on the head. Originally I was thinking something like this. I don't know why, but I kind of like it. I like the simplicity of it. I also really like fins. So let's see, these are the, we'll just call them P1. That's usually what I use for eyes. So we'll just rename this. I'm going to add another sphere. Go ahead and validate it, and then I'm just going to use the move tool to kind of shape it into a fin. Maybe just like one fin. But I also feel like he needs some sort of antennae or something. So let's use the tube tool. Path. So I'm thinking something like this. We'll take the snap off. I'm thinking something like that. Let's do all the radius, all the radii. We'll make the top bigger. And then we'll do the 3 dots, post subdivision. We'll bring this down until they're round. We can even do the post subdivision up and up again. I just want to move these a bit more into the mesh. And they feel a bit too big to me. Kind of like that for some reason. You know, you just like what you like. Let me add some. I kind of want something to be funneled into his mouth, like he's eating. Let's make some teeth. Use a sphere. Move it up. Shrink it. I'll go ahead and mirror it. Actually, we don't need to mirror it. Yeah, let's mirror it. We'll validate it. Now it's still in a mirror. We just validated it. Well, let's take this out of P1. This tube, let's bring that out as well and give it its own mirror. These are the teeth, I think. So let's add a mirror. Oh no, I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's the fin. That's the fin. So those are the eyes. This is the fin. So I'm just going to rename this fin. This is the antennae. Antennas. These are the teeth. Okay, so now we can just go here, we can use the move tool, you can turn symmetry off, and you can make them a little more teethy if you want. That looks kind of good. I feel like I don't want them too far inside, but it's a little tricky. I might use layer. Give them a little more room here. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna clone. Let's clone again. Just add another one over here. I'm going to use drag, and I just want to drag this little bit of the mouth kind of around the tooth. I like it. I like everything about it. I'm going to clone this again. And now with the clone, I'm going to go to symmetry and local. And then I'm going to hit flip object and I'm going to do Y. So we just essentially just flipped it upside down. We can clone and just make some other teeth as well. Really get that inside teeth situation. Okay, that looks pretty good. Might even take layer if you want and just kind of layer. Give them some more room if needed. There might have been a little too much room. Something like that is kind of funny. Okay, so we have the teeth here. Let's add a tongue. So we'll add a sphere. I'm going to shrink it and I'm going to flatten it and then stretch it. Mirror it, move it over, and then tilt. And sometimes you can even tilt it this way to kind of give it a little more of that tongue look. I'm going to validate. I'm going to take this mirror, select them both, and validate join children. And then just voxel remesh them together, maybe around 145 or so. Smooth it out. Smooth out the front. Looks good. Pivot, auto pivot. Kind of move this into place, shrink it some more. That looks good. And I want to take layer and just make sort of like a, not really a throat, but just like an area that's a little deeper. Smooth that out as well. It's funny looking. Oops. Okay, so let's take this, validate it. So the arms are 522. Yeah, let's take all of these. What is the sphere? Oh, that's the shoulder. So we want to take the fingers and the arm, and I'm just going to voxel remesh it at like 150. Arm A. And smooth this out. Taking care to be kind of gentle near the fingers, so we don't want to lose too much of that nice cube shape. I think that looks good. You can also take move, you can make it really small and kind of give them, oops, give the fingers a little bend by kind of pulling and pushing. Kind of nice. I actually don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. I actually don't even know if I want his arm up. I think I like it. Validate these. Maybe give him a little bend. I'm going to delete this and just kind of sphere, or not sphere, mirror this one so that I can control them a little easier. Make them a little smaller, move them down some. I don't know why I'm smoothing these too much when I want to do quad remesher. So if we look at the wireframe, you can see it's very dense. Very, very, very dense. So let's save. So I'm going to use quad remesher. You could also go to here, miscellaneous, and decimate, and you can decimate to get the resolutions down. If you're not bringing them to any other program, this part doesn't really matter. If you are, like I might bring this into Blender and slime him or something like that, then it's best to have, this is a little too much. So that's why I'm using quad remesher. So for now, I'm just going to do half, 720. So I'm just looking at the size here. Do half again. Still looks pretty good. Go half, half, half. Looks pretty good. So they're about the same. And you have these cylinders. Let's go ahead and validate these. We'll do half. The arms, the arms are symmetrical, so we can do half. Oh, just kidding. Half. We'll do half. Do half again. They still look pretty good. These parts, we'll turn symmetry off and do half. We'll back it up. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and save it. So it's looking a lot less dense. And this should be pretty good. We should be able to get this nice and low. Okay, these we can validate. So all these. There is a way to validate. There's a way to use face groups. I actually don't know how to use it. I should learn how to use it. So we have all these teeth. So I'm gonna do a quick save. And I think it's better to Boolean the teeth together. Let's validate. And then let's Boolean. And then we're going to do half and just try to get the size down because these teeth are way too big. It looks pretty good. I do like all the teeth separate though. Maybe I'll leave it there. It's kind of high. I really want to leave them like this. Just take each one and I'll make this number 900. $900 is still fairly high though, unfortunately. I'll move this to 1500. Okay, I think all the teeth look a lot better now. I'm gonna go ahead and validate them. Validate these. Validate the antennae. Validate the arms. Shoulders. Leg cuffs. I'm so confused. Oh, okay. Okay. Why is this like... Oh, there we go. We'll do a quick... we'll just save it. I don't even know what colors I want to make this rascal, but let's switch from matcap to lit PBR. And first, let's just select everything and make it a neutral color. So I will use, why does it say that's yellow? That was weird. Here's my colors that I normally use. So we'll paint that. I'm going to go ahead and add my lights now. Well, I'm going to put on post-process first. Those are my normal settings. So these are on. Global illumination, I like to turn that all the way up. This looks pretty good. I can see, let me turn off bloom. Okay, so that's that. Looks great. The only thing I'm seeing, you know what? I'm going to save this camera view, add view, and we'll just name this 1. Let's go ahead and save. That way I can easily come back to this view. So let's turn the environment off. And we'll add our first light. I like to hit a line. Actually, so add our light. Let's put this to 2.5. Might be a little bright. So that's the key. We'll clone it, and this will be the edge. We want this just to be on the edge over here. Beautiful. Love that. We'll turn it up some. Okay. I want to make sure I go in the lights and put them on camera as well. Add another light. We'll call this one R2. This will just be some more light over here, I think. Maybe something like that. And maybe we'll do, it's probably pretty good. Let me turn on the environment again. Let's turn the environment down a smidge. That looks good. Let's make the teeth shiny. All right, so let's do some color. Let's save this. Even though I love the way that this looks, I kind of want to just keep it like that. Make the teeth white. Maybe we'll do a nice green. And actually, let's take these legs, body, paint the body. The shorts, I feel like I want them to be red for some reason. Don't know what color I want this to be. just make it this color. The tongue, I think I want like a I kind of like these colors. I like it.